Good morning and welcome to Real Estate Hong Kong. My name is Sam Lee, and today we have invited a special guest to join our show. Her name is Jackie Wong, who also works at the Housing Board of Hong Kong. Hello and a warm welcome to our show, Jackie.
Thank you for having me on your show, Sam. It's an honor to be here.
Well, now, Jackie, I know you've been working in the government for 20 years already, so you must be an expert. I want to ask you some information about people in Hong Kong who are homeless. What would you say is the daily life of a homeless person?
That's an interesting question, and it really depends. One thing I would say for certain is that most homeless people spend their day begging for money. For instance, I see many of them on the street begging me to give them some spare change.
I see. Do you think it's appropriate if you give them money instead of just food, or should we give them just money instead?
No, it's actually not appropriate because they don't want the food. We shouldn't give them food.
I see, so we should give them money but not food. But what is the daily diet like for a homeless person then?
They tend to eat cup noodles for every meal.
Eating the same thing every day? I would be so bored if I had to eat cup noodles twice in the same week.
Luckily, you are not a homeless person then. Well, one other thing I would like to emphasize is that the homeless people really need our help.
Why do they need our help? Isn't being homeless a choice?
Unfortunately, many homeless people are minorities and they cannot speak the local language.
I see. That means they cannot communicate well and seek help.
Yes, you're right. Because they cannot speak the local language, that's why they can't get help and they are forever stuck in this situation.
That's awful. Are there any other reasons we need to help them?
Of course, in the most extreme cases, homeless people may have such terrible living conditions that they commit suicide. There have been many cases of this last year.
That sounds very severe. We definitely need to offer our help, or even more homeless people will commit suicide.
Yes, that's why I wanted to come here today to talk to all the listeners.
Now, I want to talk to you about another topic, which is historical Hong Kong buildings. I'm sure you have a lot of experience on this. Can you tell me more?
Sure. The oldest building in Hong Kong is the Admiralty Fire Station. It was built using only bricks. The reason is that bricks cannot be burned by fire.
I see. That's very interesting. What's another historical building in Hong Kong?
Well, I would say another one is Kowloon City Pier. The pier was built without any machinery. The whole thing was man-made. Can you believe it?
Wow, I can't believe no machinery was used. That is really special.
Unfortunately, this pier was recently destroyed by a typhoon, so it no longer exists.
That's too bad. I've never seen it before. Now, let's move on to another section of our program. A lot of our listeners want to migrate to a foreign country. Could you tell them what's required?
That's a good question. A lot of people want to move, but they don't know what to do. The first thing you need is a professional degree. Countries such as Australia are looking for people who can benefit their economy through their careers. So having a degree is something definitely a plus.
Can it be any kind of degree, or are there certain requirements?
While not everyone is accepted, it's only the ones like accounting or engineering that are accepted.
Oh yes, I have a cousin who studied engineering in university, and he was able to migrate to Australia.
Yes, that's right. And Ivan is already an accountant, so he doesn't need to worry.
Yes, that's right. So it helps to have studied those subjects if you want to move to Australia. I also heard that you can get a master's degree to improve your chances. Is that true?
Yes, you're right. It does help, but it's certainly not required. People who have master's degrees are more likely to be able to immigrate, but there are even more people who don't have a master's degree but are still successful.
That's good to know, thanks. Okay, so in the last 5 minutes of our show, we chose 2 email questions from our audience members and answered them. Here's one from Michael. It says, "Hi, I'm interested in finding out some statistics for the average apartment size for different districts in Hong Kong."
Sure, I will be happy to help. For Jordan, the average size is 416 square feet.
And what about for Sha Tin?
In Sha Tin, The figure is 613 square feet.
I see. 613 square feet in Shatin is much larger than Jordan already.
Yes, and the average size in Wan Chai is 330.
Wow. That makes Wan Chai the smallest with only 330 square feet per apartment. That's very informative. Okay, let's choose another email from the audience members. Now here's one from Sandra. She asks, Hi, my name is Sandra and I just moved to Hong Kong from Spain. I am staying at a hotel now, but I'm looking for an apartment. Do you think it's important to consider the friendliness of the neighbors before renting an apartment?
Thanks for the interesting question, Sandra. Friendliness of neighbors is not a factor you should consider in Hong Kong because we don't talk to our neighbors very much like you used to in Spain. Instead, one factor I suggest you consider is the noise levels.
And what does that mean, Jackie?
You know, that means how noisy it is nearby. What else did you think noise levels could refer to?
Oh, I see. I just wasn't familiar with that expression. Well, other than that one, what else should be considered?
Maybe people who are looking for an apartment should also consider how close it is to public transportation.
Yes, you're totally right. I live so far from the bus stop that I have to wake up so early every morning.
If you bought an apartment that was closer to public transport, then you wouldn't have this problem.
Yes, I really regret it now. I will make sure I think about it more carefully next time. Okay, well, we are almost running out of time. Thank you once again for joining our show today, and hope everyone listening has a good day.
That is the end of the recording. You will now have 1 hour and 15 minutes to read the rest of the data file and complete the tasks. Please switch off your radio.